Hi, my name is Dan Okrent. I'm the author of Last Call, The Rise and Fall of Prohibition, just published by Scribner. And one of the things that was so striking to me in my research about Prohibition was the ways that people got around what seemed to be a proscription on alcoholic beverages. There were actually three ways worked into the Volstead Act, the Enforcement Act, that allowed people to have liquor. And the one that was most astonishing to me was the idea of medicinal liquor. I actually have a bottle at home of Jim Beam. It says on it, Jim Beam, bottled and bond for medicinal purposes only. In 1917, the American Medical Association House of Delegates voted unanimously that there was no necessary use of alcohol in treating any kind of disease. However, there was this exception worked into the Volstead Act, and within the first 2 years, physicians all over the country were selling prescriptions for $3 each, and people were trotting down to the drugstore and able to take home a pint of liquor every 10 days. So that in 1922, the AMA revisited this question, and they polled their members. They called it a referendum on the medicinal use of alcoholic beverages, and came back with 27 approved uses for alcohol for prescriptive purposes. And these ranged from cancer and diabetes to snakebite to my favorite, which was old age. It was an effective way of treating old age. And this became an enormous business. You know, in Great Gatsby, when Daisy Buchanan comes home to tell her husband that she's just met this man who's moved in next door, who's so attractive and he's very rich and he made his money in drugstores, Tom Buchanan immediately knows what that means is that he was selling liquor in his drugstores. The Walgreens chain in Chicago had 20 stores when in 1920, when Prohibition began. They had 525 when it was over. In fact, they found a way to get around the physicians. You could walk into a drugstore and there would be a physician standing behind the counter who you would go up to him, you would ask for a prescription, he'd fill out a blank that looked sort of like a stock certificate and was every bit as valuable as a stock certificate, and then you walk 2 feet away to have it filled with brand names. In my book, I have a photograph of a price list published by S.S. Pierce, the high-end grocery wholesalers in Boston, and it has 10 different brands. It's not just that you can get liquor, you can get scotch, you can get 8-year-old scotch, 12-year-old scotch, you can get rum of 3 different varieties. It says on the front of it, for physicians and dentists only. It was characteristic of the cynicism, the dishonesty, the duplicity involved in so much of Prohibition and its enforcement.